payable totaling $116,668.90. Payroll totals $18,146.10, making a grand total of $134,815. Item D is approval of water department expenditures, checks numbered 3083 through 3091, and they total $32,289.21. Item E is approval of the sewer operating expenditures. Those checks are numbered 1195 through 1197, and they total $9,927.67. Item F is approval of the monthly ACH payments to the state of Michigan and the IRS in the amount of $5,798.50. Item G is approval for zoning board of appeals members and the zoning administrator to attend the MSU Extension ZBA training on June 14th, 2023 at the Manistee City Council Chambers at no cost. Item H is approval for Township board members to attend the MTA Manistee County Chapter Annual Dinner Meeting on May 24th, 2023 in Ralston at a cost of $18 per person. And then under presentation, we have Joe Slanecki here tonight with Lee Trim to do a presentation regarding current information on the well and water mains. Again, if there's any changes to the consent agenda, speak up. If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
Motion by Kolomeski, second by Brian Cruz to approve the consent agenda for tonight. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Joe, you are up.
Right here?
Yep. That's good. And you all have got packets to kind of share with each other. There is an extra one down there beyond Dean. There's one on the table up there also. So go ahead, Joe.
Yes.
Grab that one here.
All right. So what you have, I believe it was emailed out also prior to the meeting, but this is the preliminary project plan for submitting for the state revolving fund for drinking water, which the state revolving fund is low interest rate loans to do drinking water projects. So we looked at the original plan was to go through and replace all pre-1960s water main in the township and install a new well to replace one of the wells here in the township. So that's how this plan was drafted, and it's like an all-encompassing kind of looking at all those water mains. So it's a pretty substantial project. The estimate when you look at replacing all of them kind of as of one project is pushing $19 million. And had some conversations with Terry that it's a big figure, and it was roughly $400 a quarter per REU, which is residential use equivalent. So the average house would be, to pay the loan off, would be somewhere in that $400 a quarter range. Came here with the discussion of if the township wishes to kind of amend the project plan and make some changes to it and look at something a bit more strategic. Wanted some discussion on it and see kind of where and what direction the board wishes to go. Right now, the plan is turned into the state for review. Review by them doesn't obligate anybody for anything. It's just them taking a cursory look at the plan to make sure nothing would inhibit it from being considered. So it's a do you have all the boxes checked to submit kind of review. It's not a you're obligated to do this. So there can be changes made prior to its submittal. There's a submittal deadline of June 1st of this year, and leading up to that, there needs to be a 15-day window where it's been given public notice and the public has time to review it. And following that 15 days of notice, there's a public hearing where people can come in and discuss the project plan and what the township's doing. So and once that's done, after the public hearing, it needs to be approved by the board to submit it to actually go in. So there's some time here to make some changes if that's what the board wishes. I have some estimates here for maybe some other directions, and would like to get your input on where that would be if you wish to change this.
Now, I would just interject here, Joe, that their projected cost for our water customers is based on REUs, and back in February when Mike Engels came in and did our updated asset management plan, they were using water consumption figures to come up with their amounts, and what Mike had come up with, for example, for a $18 million loan, the quarterly water bill would be looking at $232. So while it's a different kind of a figure than when you look at REUs, but it's still out of the ballpark, obviously. So I just, some of you were aware of that. I know, saw Mike's calculations. Some of you sat in on that meeting, but I just want everybody to be aware of that. Sorry, Joe, back to you.
No. This is a good time for discussion before we go any further on anything. Some of the stuff we looked at would be replacing all the township's 4-inch water main that still exists with 6-inch water main, because there's some that's still out there and it's getting older. And we know that the township wishes to replace a well and probably needs to. So that would be something good to submit for. So looking at just a 4-inch main and a well, it's a little bit more reasonable at like $18 a month.
$18 a month increase based on REUs?
Yes, based on REUs. So that would be if you went through and did all the 4-inch water main and replaced a well.
Where are those 4-inch water mains?
All of them are in Filer City. I don't believe there was any in Oak Hill.
And some of the need for some of those had to do with water supply to hydrants.
Yeah, right now you're not outside the range of what's acceptable, but there was a few fire flows down in Filer City that were getting on the low end of pressure. So when you open a fire hydrant for fire flow purposes, you're supposed to maintain 20 psi in the line. And when we were fire flow testing, there was one that was right at 20. So those 4-inch mains, as they get older, they get constricted and they don't have the capacity they once used to. So it's not a regulation issue right now, but it's one of those that in time through aging it happens. One other thing we kind of just took a peek at was just kind of the cost benefit of being somewhere is replacing all the pre-1960s 6-inch main down in Filer City. So if you're down there doing a lot of work, there's some benefit to continuing on and replacing any of the old mains that are down there. And we came up with a figure that was roughly in the $6.60 a month. So $6.60 a month. So that would be on top of the 18. And that would get you anything that's pre-1960s and any of the 4-inch main that's down there replaced with new 8 or 6-inch main and a new water well.
Do you know where the water well's going to go?
Well, in the report, we looked at several sites, tried to keep it to township property, and the site that stood out the easiest and most feasible was right next door where the other one is. You could possibly put it on a couple other sites, maybe next to one of the other wells where there's already a pump house. But this one stood out as there's infrastructure here, the tower's there. So it would be, you might be able to save some costs on our estimate because you're using existing infrastructure. So there's less to build. But that all depends on test wells and permitting, and as we go through design, if it actually shakes out to be in that location. And I know there's another well, I believe it's over by Madison School. That could be a site. So those are all viable options. It'd be nice to reuse existing infrastructure and capitalize on what's already been invested in.
What's the reasoning for putting it right alongside the other one, other than the mechanicals above? Could we suck something dry and end up with two bad wells?
That would be something you'd have to look into, is what's the drawdown on those wells and how close can they be without pulling one dry. That's something that would have to be considered, just the hydraulics of the ground around the well. And this well right here is the one that needs replaced, so the existing well would be abandoned in place and a new well would be put in, so you wouldn't have that issue of two wells right next to each other.
Okay, but now if that plume, if in fact there's a plume coming under Martin Marietta, and we know that we're servicing them with our water, what are the chances of that getting into our water system right here and having a bad well with this location?
That would be something to look into and to nail down a little closer. So currently there's the contamination is far enough away. I haven't looked into where the actual plume is underneath Manistee Lake, so I can't really speak to specifics on that.
I wish I could remember whoever told me about they tried to sink a well somewhere in that neighborhood, and that's all they had was black water.
That was East Lake, village of East Lake.
Correct.
It just so happens that I spoke with a gentleman on Monday this week when I was in rehab, and he was talking about when he was on the board at East Lake, and this was back in the 60s, I think the late 60s, and he said they put a test well down when they were exploring, water for East Lake. They put a test well down, and the guy said it came up black, and they were told it was from the PCA when they were dumping over there. I don't know if it was sludge or what, did they have sediment ponds or whatever, but at any rate, he said they went all the way to the southeast side of the Little Manistee River with a test well where they found good water. Yeah, but the system it didn't get approval. They never went ahead with it. But yeah, that may be what you'd heard, Tom.
Yeah, and a lot of that depends on contamination in groundwater hydraulics, and the lake is there, so that would be something that it would play into if it would come underneath the lake and over.
Flow direction of the
hydraulics, yeah. Generally, the groundwater flow would be towards the water body. So you have.
I know when we talked to Brian before, and we told him that we had that property west of Pizza Hut by the driveway there, and he thought that would be a good location to put a well because we got lines running right there. I understand that we'd have to put the pump and everything in the building, and
correct,
and probably a generator and everything, but I have a problem with being next to another well.
Yeah, and there were some other locations that looked promising, but there's some old leaking underground storage tanks from old gas stations nearby, and you have to be a certain distance from those. Not sure what that looks like, so there'd have to be some investigation to know, but it's just potential because we know they're there.
That's just like the property across the street from my house.
That's where I think what he's talking about right now.
And there is a gas station, old gas station.
Right.
So those are all factors that come in as distance from those types of things. So trying to stick to actual township property that you already own, so you don't have to purchase property in order to put a well in. But at this point in time, the loan application, it doesn't pick a spot. It has a preferred location, But that doesn't mean that's what you're obligated to do. No design's been done at this point in time. This is high level budgetary and submitting to get awarded the ability to start doing the design and go look at everything in a little more detail.
Joe, what would, there's an advantage, possible cost saving advantage of putting well next to the existing well 4 or well 3. What would the approximate cost be for abandoning well 3? I mean, that's got to be capped and everything, I'm assuming?
I would assume you'd have to cap it, and if you're putting another drinking water well right next to it, I'm not 100% sure on what would be required, but it'd probably be some sort of like bentonite or clay backfill to plug it up, and then you just cut it off and cap it.
Which one is 3?
And there's one right here. And there's going to be a cost associated with that.
Yeah, that's pretty minimal, I would assume. So, and
Is that the oldest of the wells rather than the one by the park? Which one's older?
Boy, I don't remember now. They're both close in age, but I want to say well 2 was actually, I'm going back to 3 or 4 years ago when we had studies done and we had to have rehab done on both of those wells. And well 2 was they were recommending doing well 2 first, and I think it was due to age, but then before we were going to do that in the following summer, that rehab, and then before that summer came, this one, we had issues with this one. It went down, and so we did the rehab on this one first, and then well 2 the following summer. But I'm just.
I think the one by the park is older.
Well, that's what
Because I don't think we own this property till.
Okay.
How old is the oldest well? How long have we had water in the township?
Well, the oldest one has been abandoned already.
Okay, but how long? About,
That one went in 48, I think, was it? The well that was back here initially.
I don't have that figure in my head.
Yeah.
I saw it once.
They're-
I believe
they're
well
in-
2 is older.
Yeah, they're in the reports.
what if they're both close in age? What's the difference?
Yeah, they are. They're both, in excess of 50 years old.
Yeah, and well 3 is the lower producing well.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't have the gallons per minute that the other wells have.
And it has the issue with sand.
Yeah, so taking that in consideration, you'd have to understand the hydraulics and see if you could get a well that would produce more, because that would be a benefit, is to have like a higher producing well. The one thing you look at is if one well goes down, do you have enough capacity to meet max day demand and fire flow? And well 3 it's on the border of that. It meets and it's okay. But if there's any growth or any increased demand, then it could be a liability. So if you could put a well in that was a higher producer, you'd be a lot better off.
That's probably a better way than
Yeah.
regardless of what the physical location is.
Yeah, right now, really, well 4 and well 2 can keep up with daily demand until we get to summer months, irrigation and that, then we start using well 3
Yeah.
a little bit as well.
And the way we look at that is you take your highest producing well and you take it out of service to see if you can meet your max day demand. And right now you do with well 3. But like was mentioned, it pulls sand and has some things that are going on with it. So it's not necessarily the best solution.
And we've continued over the last, 5, 6, 7 years, we've been putting money into all 3 wells. We've had some substantial expenditures at well 4 even. And of course, most recently, well 2 with relining. I want to say that was around a $90,000 project. So, and we know we've got issues with well 3, so, and we'll probably, continue to have to put money into it if we're gonna keep it operational.
So kind of with that discussion, if submitting for a drinking water state revolving fund, our recommendation would be to look at a new well and getting rid of the 4-inch main. And submit a project like that, that would be the smallest, that would make sense to go for a loan to get done.
How long would the loan be for?
Those figures are for a 30-year loan. Yeah, and it's 2.25% right now. A 20-year loan is 1.875%. So you'd pay a little more in interest, but you'd have higher monthly costs. That could be something that could be discussed too.
And what are we looking at, Joe, in that scenario for a loan, total loan?
That one was the $1836 a month.
Okay, what, I'm talking about our
Total
what
amount.
we're gonna fund.
The dollar value?
SRF.
Right.
Yeah, the dollar value for a new well and replacing all the 4-inch water main was, well, rounded up to $4 million. The estimate's $3,987,000.
Okay.
Just about $4 million.
And how about if you added the 6-inch down there, like the extra 660?
Just the 6-inch main was another 1.5 million.
5.5 million.
Which almost would make sense if you've got it tore up down there right away.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
You would save some of the connection costs. So every time you connect to an old main, there's an expense to all the pieces and parts that do it. So some of those 6-inch mains, if you're installing new, you just continue on.
You're at about a $24, $25 added monthly bill
It would be, yeah. Yeah.
Per quarter.
per quarter.
Oh, that's a month. That's a month.
A
It's a
month.
month.
For the commercial?
Just
What
based
are-
off REU. So depending on who has what kind of service, so there's obviously industry down there that uses more and has larger connections. So it would be more in that scenario.
A home is one REU.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's your general population. But depending on the size of the service that any industry has, it would, and commercial, it would change that amount. So if somebody has a service that's 2 REUs, it would be double. And the way your rate structure is, it's service size area. So as the connection gets bigger, it grows by the area of that connection.
We gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, and when we initially started discussions on this a couple years ago, we were discussing just a well,
Yeah.
and
300,000. 200.
yeah, now it's what we would be looking at today with just a new well, approximately.
Well, the estimate for the new well is based off of installing a new test well at a brand new location and putting in at least 120 feet of 8-inch ductile iron pipe and a new treatment building, new electrical, new everything. So this is if you were going to pick a brand new site and build a brand new well with a new well house and everything that goes to it, permitting, electric, all of it. It's about $1 million with contingency and engineering. So just the well itself is 820 in that scenario. So if you are in a location where you don't have where you already have that infrastructure, there's benefit. But test wells and permitting need to sort of dictate that, and that starts when you really start investigating sites. We haven't gotten an answer yet from Eagle if you could use an existing well as a test well to save some money. So if you were going to put one on the site that's already there, if you could use that as a test well, because you're supposed to drive a test well and see what it produces and test the water and do some initial work up front to choose a location.
How does that work if we know it's not producing and that, why would you use the same well for a test?
Part of the problem with the sand is probably the screen at the bottom has deteriorated over time, so it's pulling in sediment, and you don't want that in your mains.
Okay, so how about the flow?
The flow, I don't know if new equipment and a new pump down would help, because it's an old, I think it's an old vertical vein pump, and those aren't as efficient as new pumps. So you would probably see some improvement with just new equipment.
Well, I think it'd be difficult to try and sell the full project.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, no
I
way.
mean,
Well,
how about,
yeah, if you think of, and I don't know what the average bill is for a resident, but, I'm guessing,
well, you're down there.
yeah, but I think, I probably use more water than a lot of people use.
We'll go off here, but what was
Well,
that?
Yeah,
it depends on the family, use it more.
It depends on the family and the time of year, if you irrigate, like in the summer months, my bill goes up a lot. But if you take say an average monthly bill of around, or quarterly bill of around $45, $50, $55, something in that neighborhood, and then if you look at, if we're gonna do,
You're gonna add $75 to that.
add 72 to it, if we do the,
6-inch and 4-inch.
both the 6 and the 4-inch added to the well, that's in 72 per month.
No, 72 total, 25 per month.
Correct.
Correct. So 72 per quarter.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, I've got that figured in times 3, yep, so
Plus your,
72,
plus your 100, how
So-
much? Plus 45, 50?
say whatever, yeah, so it's gonna
120 a month.
It's gonna double their water
Double
bill.
their bill.
Yeah.
Easily.
And then, you look at the flip side, it's something that, we're gonna be doing eventually,
Yeah.
it's gonna have to happen.
Now, whose
So I
bill
don't
does
know.
that double? It doubles everybody's bill in Oak Hill and Filer? Whoever has water.
Yeah. Well, and it would affect the commercial customers as well.
No commercial, but not well people. Not to have their own well.
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
Just
the
everybody that's got the
water
pipes.
department
just-
area.
yeah.
It's gonna impact the industry probably the hardest, as they
Yeah,
have the
the-
greatest REU factor.
PCA is the biggest water consumer.
Yeah. One thing to consider is there were some bonds out on the water system, and I believe those are getting paid off this year.
There's only one.
One?
You had two in your.
Okay.
It's paid off in September.
Okay. So the
But it
capacity.
doesn't gonna cover anywhere near what this.
No, and when the next one comes off, we're not sure how much that contributes to the ability to cover a new bond.
A fraction, like what? We did have that figured one time.
What's
The current bond as compared to the new one.
I don't remember calculating
Are we getting pressure yet from Eagle to put in the new well? Or have you not heard anything?
No, not since Scott Conradson retired. But I've been told that his replacement is, going through his files, updating, and so
it. You'll be getting a
it's
call.
just a matter of time. Yeah.
Yeah, so the question would be, if you only went for a new well, would it be worth submitting to this drinking water state revolving fund, or is that something that could get covered locally? And if you're going to submit, is it beneficial to put more on because of the low interest nature of the loan?
Whatever you think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it. Eventually, we're gonna have to, we keep thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, the well was 300, now it's 800.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the well, I mean, not building it, and now you're 1 million if you got a new location. I mean, things are getting a little cheaper. I mean, got to think about it, talk about it, I agree with that.
So you need something from us tonight, telling you what way to go?
Well, it would be, we have the project plan, which is the whole
Right.
1960s water main and older, and a new well. If, you know, and we've done that part, but we could amend it and pare it down to something that you see reasonable and something that you would like to submit for, and turn that in, and just kind of revamp the plan, take some out, and make some adjustments to it.
If we submit, are we obligated to accept it if we get,
I don't believe so.
decide not? Okay.
You're not.
And this is still also due by June 1st?
Yes, it's due by June 1st. So we would have to kind of work quick, slide some extra sheets in there, take some stuff out, and rework the project plan and get it turned around for a draft for the public comment period.
So,
The public comment, does that have to be before June 1?
Yes. The public hearing has to be before the due date of June 1. And that's where people can come in, voice their opinion. And anything that comes up that kind of changes the project plan, we can incorporate that into the final. But the submittal's the first. So
3 weeks away.
yeah.
so submittal is June 1st, and we have to have in there the scope, what we're doing, and the amount.
Correct. Correct.
The dollar amount that we want.
Mm-hmm.
And did you say that can or cannot be amended after submission?
After you submit for the project plan and the loan, I believe you can. I haven't really looked into it that hard on that end. I don't think you're obligated to take the whole thing and continue with the project as you submit. I believe there's the ability to remove some items, particularly during the bid times, because if something comes back and it's just outside the realm of what's feasible, then you're not going to do it. But I can ask that question for sure. I'll get a hold of Eagle and make sure that if you submit, can you amend this after the fact? And I believe the answer is yes.
And if we don't do the June 1 submittal, when would the next one be?
Next year.
In June again?
That's typically when it's been.
And I know we haven't discussed rural development loan. What's that submittal deadline? That's in the fall, isn't it?
I believe so.
November or something
Yes.
like that? Yeah. But there we're looking at higher interest rates and...
Higher interest rates, and there's different qualifications for that one.
And am I understanding correctly that they have less money to work with currently?
I believe that's true.
If we didn't do it, we wouldn't know next year whether there would be all that money.
Pardon me?
We wouldn't know the amount of money for next year if we had to resubmit.
No, not with the way things are changing.
Yeah, and I know there's some communities that qualify for principal loan forgiveness on some of these, but I'm not sure that Filer Township falls into that category.
Well, I don't know what that's based on, but like the grant money being based on your median household income, and because they don't take into consideration just the water service district, they take the whole township, we
Lose out.
lose
Yeah,
out.
and I looked into that and asked the question several times, just knowing that Filer Township as a whole is different than the community served by the water system. And they were pretty adamant they're not going to look at individual districts, even though Filer City and Oak Hill are their own census blocks, so you can look at the median household income in the census blocks. And by those metrics, it would qualify as a, they call it a disadvantaged community. But they only look at the township level. So. I tried. I sent about 3 emails and got the same answer every time. I believe we did mention it in the report, though, just so it was in there. We can't submit the calculation sheet and check the box, but we made sure to put it in there.
Well, we could let him
So-
go with it and take it to the public comment period and see what happens.
Well, yeah, we've got to make some sort of a decision tonight, really, with that deadline looming, that June 1 deadline. So what's the pleasure of the board?
Well, I will make a motion that we do the 2 parts, the well plus the 4-inch lines in Filer City, along with the 6-inch lines that are in Filer City.
Okay.
Well location on that, or just in general, no matter where?
In general, I guess.
Okay, I'll support the motion then.
I'm not tied into any specific location on that.
With the time limitation, this is the best deal.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion by Steggy and second by Chinsky to,
Town anyways.
Tom.
oh, okay, to submit a proposal for doing the 4-inch, replacing the 4-inch water mains with 6-inch in the Filer City area, and then replacing the pre-60s 6-inch mains in the Filer City area again, along with the well. Any further discussion? Ready to vote? Shirley, you want to do a roll call on this, please?
Brian Cruz,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Steggy,
Yes.
Kalinowski,
Yes.
Wall, yes, Kaczynski,
Yes.
D. Cruz,
Yes.
Motion carried. So, you will be in touch then to let us know as far as
Yeah.
the next step in setting up,
A good thing to do right now, not to tell you what to do, but is to pick a date for the public hearing.
It's got to be, how many days before the first?
15,
You have a 15-day window where it's out for review. So you would have to count, and it's calendar days, not work days. So back calc, and for us to turn something in 2-3 days ahead of time, just to get any final edits in.
so you would want the public hearing by, say, May 25th, 26th, at the latest?
Yeah.
when is our audit? I think it's that week. She's coming the day after Memorial Day. What day is Memorial Day?
Memorial Day is the 29th.
Okay, well, they will be all over this room.
Yeah.
No, isn't it, it's the 12th, 13th, and 14th of June?
For what, the audit? No, it's the day after Memorial Day. She changed from June.
Tuesday, the 30th.
Memorial Day.
She'll be here then. Okay, so if we schedule for, and we have to have 15-day public notice. That'll go in the newspaper and on the website.
Correct.
So if we back up from the 24th, 15 days, we need to get that notice by, today is the 4th,
The 10th?
by Monday the 8th, Tuesday the 9th.
What day are we talking about doing this?
If we're looking at the 24th, if we look at the 25th.
That's what our dinner is.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so we better look at the 25th. Yeah, I forgot about that. So May 25th for a public hearing? Is that gonna work for you?
I think we can do that.
Okay.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yeah.
To set the public hearing?
I'll make the motion that we set a public hearing for water system upgrades for May 25th.
At what time?
Let's go with 6. PM.
Let's do a roll call on that.
Need a second to that
I'll
motion
second.
first. Okay, so motion by Walker, second by Kalinowski to set the public hearing regarding the water system upgrades for May 25th at 6 PM at the Township Hall. Go ahead, Shirley.
Kaczynski,
Yes.
Dean Cruz,
Yes.
Brian Cruz.
Yes.
Kalinowski,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Stady,
Yes.
Paul. Yes.
Okay, so we need to get notice then in the paper. Will you have something written up for that, Joe?
By was it the 8th or the 9th?
Well, 15, that'd be the 10th, right?
The 10th. That should be,
Is that something you're gonna write or you're gonna write?
If you'd like me to write it, I can do that.
we have some templates
Okay.
that they provide.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. My only suggestion would be trying to get in, contacting the paper at least a week ahead of time, which, well,
Pushing
I guess we're already pushing up on that, but as soon as possible, just because there have been times when I've had to publish notices in the paper and they're booked out 4 or 5 days.
Yeah. If you want, afterwards, I'll give you a contact name and phone number or two, and probably it'd be a good idea to give a call tomorrow to make sure that they know this is coming and that there's a deadline for it, and et cetera. And then as far as getting it on the website, if you send it to Tammy, she can get that on there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Anything else you need or we need?
No. I do know we're doing our best, but with the changes in the scope, we're coming close to the end of the budget and the project plan. So I believe we had a $40,000 time and materials. So we're going to be probably really close to, if not just a touch over that. Just wanted to make you aware.
Okay. Do we need some kind of a motion for approval for that with an unknown overrun?
Well, how much needs to be approved?
Let me,
Do you have an estimate?
I can get one quick.
To answer your question, yeah, it would need to be approved, but
I would estimate that for under 6,000, we can get it done. That would give some buffer.
So you can make a motion,
Not to exceed.
No more than 6?
well, if you make a motion to approve up to 6, and then, you know, you said that gives us a little bit of buffer room?
I believe so.
Okay, then,
Given the time frame to get it turned in, yeah.
so approval for up to an additional $6,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Additional 6,000.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Brian Cruz, second by Dean Cruz, to approve an expenditure up to $6,000 by Wade Trim to do the upgrades to the plan for submittal.
And that should get you through public hearing and submittal.
Including the public hearing.
Yes, yeah, that's all of it.
Okay. Any discussion? Shirley, you want to do one more roll call, please?
Dean Cruz,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Brian Cruz,
Yes.
Kalinowski,
Yes.
Stady,
Yes.
Ball, yes, Kaczynski.
Yes.
Okay. If there's nothing else you need from us
Nope.
right now, Joe? You want these back then?
I think there's still some relevant information in there. I can take them if you
I'm
want.
sorry.
If someone wants to, I believe there's a lot of relevant information in there.
Yeah,
If you want to
yeah.
relook at them.
Yeah.
You should keep at least one copy.
Well,
Yeah, there'll be another one.
yeah, with the changes in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's keep a couple
Yeah.
for here. I'll keep this one and.
A lot of
Shirley, you
the,
wanna keep yours?
a lot of the background information isn't going to change.
Right.
Any of the environmental stuff is all the same.
Right.
It's just taking some parts out and reworking the numbers. So,
Lowering.
yeah, lowering the numbers.
Also, in several places in there, you have Red Annie Road instead of Red Apple.
Yeah.
Oh, I will have to check
And then
that.
I think the street number is wrong too.
I don't know.
I made a note of that also. I don't know where I put those notes, but, and then also I want to double check, you had, connections with the city, and I'm not aware of the second.
Oh, it's just
connection we have
connections?
with the city.
Yeah, there's the
I'm aware
one.
of the one, the Maywood connection, but the other one, I've never heard any discussion on.
All right. I will look
I
into
was
that.
gonna check with our water operator on that, and I just haven't done it, but it might be something that needs to be,
Yeah, we can double check that.
yeah. I'll find my notes too, because I know there are a couple.
Yeah, if there's any comments, feel free to let us know.
Okay.
So would you send me a copy of that public hearing notice when you get it done?
Yeah, I can look for
Okay.
I can look for one.
Okay.
They
I'll
had,
send it to you, Alex, so you can.
Okay.
Eagle
If there's
has,
any information that you need from me to,
yeah, you need to publish, the cost per user and when the meeting is and give a description of what the project is. So those are all the requirements. But I'll get you a template,
okay.
and if you want to change it up, but the template has all the information you need.
Okay. So then, will you be relying on us to publish in the paper, or is that something that Wade Trim is going to?
Generally, when we've done others, the township has published it in the paper.
Okay. We can do that. You'll send the template to
Yes.
Alex, okay?
Yep, I will find it and get it to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Do you want I don't have a business card on me, but I can write you my email address.
He's coming over.
Business card, come on.
Deputy. I'll put that
I
in there.
gave them all away at MTA.
Oh.
Oh, right.
want yours?
No, I didn't think.
Same on paper if you're just gonna revise a page or two.
Yeah, I can
I
go
think
through
we
it.
got them on email.
Slide
Pare it down, we got those on email. 2 pages, I think.
The front name is Michael Myers.
Well, that's on the computer.
I think it came on there.
Did it not have
Did that not, didn't we get it?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's in there.
These?
Correct.
Thank you.
I read it there.
On your computer?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I haven't,
I read mine off the.
yeah, I think we do.
oh, can you get, is that your?
No, it's on there now.
Yes, you can get it emailed.
It's in the email, you just have to open it up.
That's we're talking about one specific.
No.
Dale's the only one that's brought us bad one.
I didn't know we needed them or not.
No, not, she hasn't had a chance to.
Next meeting.
Things rolling.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Yeah, you're free to cruise if you
I
wish.
have cramps in my hands, so.
You want to get working
Oh,
on
that's
it
fine,
tonight.
no problem.
What's that?
But
You want to get working on it tonight.
keep that on. Okay, moving on then, public comment. Jim, you got anything?
I just want to, what's the brush pickup?
Supposed to start this coming Monday, depending on, thanks Joe, depending on weather, that's Scott's plan. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Under department and committee reports then, again, in your packet is the Operations Services report for
Is the SCADA system now in operation?
the SCADA system is now operational, as far as I know. Yep. And I do not have that on my phone for operation. That was asked of me, so, but I don't want it on my phone. That'll go to Josh, and, well, both Joshes.
Yeah.
Josh says he did turn up the water pressure or something when that fire came on his phone and he was able to make corrections on his phone. He told me that this morning here.
Yep, great. So you didn't even have to come in to do that.
So it works.
Okay, the sewer report is also in your packet, monthly report from the city for March. The DDA minutes from the April 4th meeting along with the director's report is in your packet. Building and grounds minutes from the monthly meeting on April 17th is in your packet, and we have there a bid for waxing the floors at the rec center, cleaning and waxing from independent cleaners in the amount of $700. So we need to take action on that.
I'll make a motion, we get independent cleaners on $700.
Okay, a motion by Kolonowski, second by Brian Cruz to approve the bid from independent cleaners in the amount of $700 to clean and wax the rec center floors. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item F, the Planning Commission minutes from their April 18th meeting is in your packet, as is Larry's monthly report for April. Item G. Moving down to item J, the fire department report from Jim is in your packet. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Jim?
Just a couple things. And I think you got a copy of it today, Terry, the Jim Peck resigned from the fire department effective immediately today.
No, I did not. I didn't see
You
that
didn't get it
yet.
yet? Okay, he copied you, but he's delivered it to my door this afternoon.
Okay.
So Jim Peck has officially resigned from or retired from the fire department.
Okay.
That puts us down to 10. And so since the day of this report was written, we've had, we did for 15 runs, so we're at 125 for the year so far from January 1
And that calculates out to about 1 run per day for this year so far. The other thing is that when we bought the SCBA's, we were trying to get rid of our old ones along with our bottles and everything. I managed to find a fire department in the UP that is in dire need of some SCBA's and some bottles, so we have agreed to basically sell those to him for $1,650 to get rid of the SCBA's and the cases and the masks and some of the obsolete bottles that we have. So I will be meeting up with him on Monday to deliver those to him. It's from Rudyard Fire Department in the UP. They currently have 13 members. They only have 5 SCBA's in their department.
Rudyard Township?
It's a township, yes. So we did manage to get rid of those. I mean, we couldn't get rid of them any other way, and it would be a shame to have to just throw them out, but they do us no good sitting in the station. So $1,650 is better than nothing and throwing them away. So we'll be taking care of that and getting rid of all those obsolete ones. So.
Is there any kind of inspection or anything that needs to be done on those? So
Well,
there's no
actually,
liability
what we're doing
issues
is,
with them going to
the
somebody
gentleman
else?
that came up that does our annual flow testing on our SCBA's from Olive Fire, he came up and he's the one that he snapped some photos of them because he was going up to the UP. He talked to the fire chief up there, showed him the pictures, we made contact, and this gentleman said that he would flow test these for free for that department as a service to them. The department that we're selling these to are very limited on their resources, so this is a good fit for them. And the company that does the flow testing is going to flow test these for nothing. So he's either going to have to go back up to the UP to test them, or he's going to come to our station, flow test them here, and then I will pack them up and take them to where they got to go.
So once they're flow tested, then there's no liability issues?
There's no liability, and also I will have a complete list of serial numbers and the such for the files here of what we got rid of. And also there'd be I was going to talk to and have a letter of release of liability. So when he takes them over, I have to write a receipt for the money that he's paying us, and then I was going to just draft a letter of liability, releasing us of any liability on those aircraft.
Okay.
So.
And why did we need new ones that Rudyard can use the old ones?
These are obsolete.
But they can use them.
Well, they're going to use them, yes. So we have there's bottles that are there that no longer can be hydro tested, but they're getting it all. So they're getting everything. So I'll have to go through and which ones they can use, and which ones they can't. So, but 10 years is a pretty good is a standard of what we replace them. There are departments that have ones that are older than 10 years, but 10 years is the number that NFPA was recommended that they be replaced at. So.
Would it be good to have Alex write up that release?
If that's possible, that would be great to if he could do that. I plan on leaving to meet
Just
with
kind
him.
of tell what you need.
Yeah, I plan on meeting with him on Monday, the 15th. So. Okay. I'll get you the information. I'll get you the information in place. They're SCBA's and self-contained breathing apparatus.
Okay.
Understand that, so just needed that they're going to sign that saying that they release us of any liability on those. Doing better.
Okay. Do you have my email address?
No.
No.
Can't give you a card because he doesn't have it.
Is it? Just tell me what it is, I'll write it down.
It's A. Henderson.
A. Anderson?
Yep, first initial, then my last name.
Okay.
At micahmyers.com, spelled M-I-K-A.
It's like Richardson.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yeah,
Just it's A. Anderson.
yep. His is R. Wilson, mine's A. Henderson.
Jim, did you get a email from the city today on?
Yeah, Tammy forwarded
Oh,
that
okay,
to me,
yeah.
about the new fire chief that's coming
Yeah,
into the
yep.
city.
I don't know why I don't have your email address. I was gonna forward that to you when I gave you your
Tammy
email address.
forwarded
He
that
asked
to
me
me
about
this
it, and I said, just send it to everybody, you know, why
Yeah.
not? It's just a,
Yeah, okay.
I did.
should have been.
All right, thank you.
We have a motion and everything for all of that to do and sell it for that amount.
Yeah, I suppose we probably should, just to make it kosher. A motion to, and I'll make that motion to approve the sale of,
Surplus.
how many was it?
10
10 surplus CBAs,
SCBA's.
SCBAs by Filer Fire Department to the Rudyard Fire Department for the amount of $1,600.
50.
1650.
Oh, $1,650, okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, so a motion by Walker, second by Cruz, Dean Cruz, you have all that?
I got it.
Okay. Any discussion?
And Shirley, I will get you the information, I'll forward all that to you when I get the release of liability and all the serial numbers, everything, everything
Yeah.
that's.
Yep, we'll need all of that.
Do a sealed bid, though.
Then you can put that in the file.
Okay, any discussion?
Aren't we supposed to be doing sealed bid when we got rid of our equipment here? We had to do a sealed bid. But
It's
we
only
work
for,
in two different ways?
it's only for certain things.
Huh?
It's only for certain things.
I don't know.
Shirley wants it to.
No, but if the fire department is under a different umbrella,
Yep.
I don't know. Shouldn't be.
I have to look
The
into
question is, we have a policy on selling obsolete equipment that we just went through last month and had a
It's
sale.
not obsolete, it's surplus.
Pardon me?
It's not obsolete, it's surplus.
It is not obsolete, you just told me.
No,
It's
it is,
already
it's
sold.
obsolete.
It's obsolete.
Good way, good trick. Good way to get
Good
around.
trick, you like that?
You were one behind a sealed bid.
Yes, I was.
Well, I don't know, I guess we still need to address that policy.
Yes, we do.
We definitely do, and yet, because there's a fire department that's in need, I hate to stand in the way of that happening, so I'm willing to keep my motion as is.
What do you think about that? I mean, here we have a fire department, they can use it. Joe Blow on the street isn't gonna have much use for an SCBA.
Mhm. Now, I mean, what is because I haven't seen this policy, I'm not aware of any.
We can get you a copy of it, but basically it's, we have to receive sealed bids.
Okay.
I just happen to have one.
You got a
Copy
copy?
of the policy?
Yeah.
Mind if I look at it?
So
Well, no, that's not the,
So
no,
what
that's
happens
not,
when you
excuse me,
don't
that's
get a
just,
bid on it?
no, I don't have it.
That's the old one.
That's,
Well, I
that's,
mean, if it's a policy, the board can decide to waive the policy for this sale. I mean, my suggestion would be if we don't want to deal with the policy for the sale, the board just waive the
Yeah,
policy.
well, that's kind of what I'm saying.
It's a logical thing. I mean.
Because of
Make a
the
motion?
circumstances.
I'll make a motion to waive the
I'll
thing
support.
and sell them to the drug here.
Well,
I'll
he already
second
did
it.
it. He
No, he
already
didn't.
You already made a
Not to
motion?
waive the policy.
Yeah, I didn't make a motion to waive the policy. I
You gotta waive
made
the
the
policy.
motion to
Sell.
approve the
Right.
sale of those.
Well, that could be included in that.
And I guess I
motion.
would add to
But
that
that's up to him
motion.
to include.
I
it in
would
the
add to
motion.
that motion that we waive our township policy on,
For this one issue,
for
right?
this issue, our policy on getting rid of obsolete equipment. And Dean, if you're willing to second that, then,
I'll second.
okay. So,
let's, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll get you a copy of that policy so you can review it and give us,
Yeah, it's pretty general.
What was the reason for implementing the policy in the first place?
I wasn't here then, I don't know, it's been a long time
It's
ago.
okay, I didn't know.
Well,
if
it
it
was an MTA that advised us, to have something like that in place to deal with the sale of township assets, to do it above board and fairly, so everybody's got a chance
Yeah.
at the same thing.
That policy does protect the township when it comes to like a lending of credit issue so that so that you're not giving away
Right.
property at below market value and then somebody says, oh, it's equivalent to a donation. But something like this, if it's fire department equipment, like you're saying, nobody off the street's gonna use it and there's a township up north that's going to pay for it, I don't see any reason for the policy to apply in this instance.
Okay.
Well, this just became a victim of a discussion from last month. So, no, I totally agree, we give them to them. But we were told policy was policy, so that's why I brought it up.
You can waive, policy is below ordinance, below statute, you can waive the policy.
Okay.
And I think that this is a good instance to do that.
Okay, let's
We have to
move on.
vote on that motion.
We did.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, we did
Have
not,
it all in favor?
Yeah.
no, I don't think, did we?
I said aye.
Okay,
I wrote all in favor, but
Oh,
what does
okay.
that do? Yeah.
then
We did it.
your memory's better than mine. Okay, so that takes us to unfinished business, item A, the approval of an ordinance granting non-exclusive franchise to Great Lakes Energy Cooperative to use local public ways and do local electrical business, establishing the terms and conditions of such franchise and repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith.
Did we ever hear back from them after we?
I still haven't heard back from him, and I don't believe Richard has either. The last time I had a discussion with Richard, and that's probably a couple weeks ago, and at that point, he hadn't heard anything, because I asked him, what if they, next step, what if they look at this and don't approve it, aren't acceptable to it,
We're gonna send it to him.
Then I won't tell you what his comment was, but, yeah, so, but I haven't
I'm
heard
just
anything from
curious.
Great Lakes, yeah.
Because I know he said, let's do it and throw the ball in their court. And
Yeah,
just wondering if we heard
well,
anything.
ball's been in their court for a long time.
Okay.
I don't know if they don't know how to play ball or don't have a paddle or what kind of ball we're playing, but anyway, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Dean Cruz, second by Steggy to approve the ordinance. I'm not going to read it all again. You've got it.
Yep.
So go ahead, Shirley, call the roll.
Ball, yes. Dean Cruz?
Yes.
Kaczynski?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Malinowski?
Yes.
Stady?
Yes.
Ryan Cruz?
Yes.
Okay, under new business, item A is consideration of approval in the amount of $6,088.76 to Allen Supply for a security door with ticket window.
What's this for?
Where's this going, Zach?
Out here where the cart normally is,
Oh,
It's going to replace the cart.
replace the
Basic.
cart.
okay.
And the next couple of approvals there are for getting in with the fob like you do.
And why do we need it?
It has got to do for security. People will not come into the offices. We will continue to go to them.
Do we all, everybody's getting this, Manistee Township, everybody's got something like this?
Manistee Township, I do not believe has that, but they've got a big vestibule. They go to their people by the door too. This is the one that, the Allen Supply is the one that Mike Cipolla turned this, or told us that if you're doing the work with the county. So I called him and she drew up this
Because we're talking total of about 10 grand.
Yep, with the, well, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the outside entrance door will be unlocked
Yes,
and open, but this would be
this would be locked,
locked, and somebody would have to either go let them in.
as we do now, yeah.
Yeah, except, yeah, as we do now, I mean, they can, they can come right on through if they want to,
Yeah.
yeah.
I went to the workplace safety session in Traverse City, and there was a lot of talk about, unfriendly people coming into public places. Seems to be quite the issue. So this is what I did. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Ball, second by Steggy to approve $6,088.76 to Allen Supply for a security door with a ticket window. Discussion.
I guess surely you're gonna lock that door. What about that door and that door?
That door is locked, the garage door is
I
locked.
understand, but if somebody wants to get through there, we're paying probably top dollar for a security door. Why not a Dutch door or a door with just a,
Well, Tom, I asked the building and grounds to come up with some ideas, and they had none. So talking it over with the lady at Allen Supply and telling her what our application was, this is what she came up with. It sounds feasible to me. It's workable.
So basically, our office is going to be closed to the public.
No, your office is open to the public. The door says open.
Okay.
They come
But-
into the vestibule the way they do
Okay,
right
so
now.
when they come in, then there'll be a bell to ring or something again, or, so
Well,
Tammy, or you
we
know
have
that
a chime,
they're there?
and
It's another
yes, there will be
$30.
a way to, and one of these motions here shows people in the inside area as to who they are.
One of these,
What the motion here about the
Security camera.
oh, okay.
security camera in the entrance area.
Okay, so then you and Tammy will have a screen that you'll be able to see when people are coming in, you can see who they are.
And the ticket window part is the part where you get your, you can have interaction with the.
Slide a water bill and money underneath or whatever. Is there a means to communicate
Oh, yeah.
with the camera
In
without
the- there's
leaving?
In the window, the speaker part.
Okay,
is the window.
okay. Other discussion, questions? Okay. You want
You
to-
know, it's a full security thing, that somebody was gonna come in and rob them, then we should have some.
Well, I understand that is going to prevent somebody from just freely coming in and creating an issue with either Tammy or Shirley or Tom. Apply to him too. I understand Tom's comment, if somebody wanted to get in, they, if there's an easy access or knock it down these doors, however, it's gonna, it's gonna tip the people off in here that something's happening. There should be, they at least have a second to push the security alarm, TS alarm button. But,
If you're going this route, couldn't you get any other estimates?
Well, this is the one that I came up with based on what the county had done. They're based in Traverse
think we
You
should
would
go.
think we'd have to have 2 doors.
No,
I mean, if you were gonna, if that one was locked, and that one was locked, how are they gonna get in? Except they could kick in the garage door, come in
well,
there.
you can kick in any window or any door.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know.
I think we should send this back to the buildings and grounds and see if they come up with something a little more reasonable. This
Well,
to
they
me-
didn't want to get into it, this is why I did it.
Yeah, my recollection, when that came up with building and grounds, was they didn't see a need for it. They didn't think there was a need for a security door.
I can see a door with a window and stuff like that, but this sounds to me like top notch, which it's all right if they do it at the courthouse on their entrance. There's a
Or
lot of
top
officers
notch.
there. Well, I think this is top notch at that price.
And question, would the same fob operate that as the outside door, so we don't all have to carry 2 fobs around?
TKS actually came up here and took a look at it,
Okay.
so they knew that this all would work.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess, I can see what that could detour a situation where you have a unhappy
Coast Guard, yeah.
resident or person come in and,
Well, we've had some in the past where I had to go in and stand behind them and say, get out of here, I'll call the cops.
yeah.
But, that's happened. Guy ended up calling them all sorts of names and everything. I had to walk in. He left.
Happens on the street, but not everybody has a security guard in front of them.
Okay, well, anything else? Ready to vote?
Can I get a second? Who seconded? Tom seconded.
Yeah, there was a motion and a second. You want to do a roll call, Shirley?
Machinsky,
No,
Dean Cruz,
Yes.
Kalinowski,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Staggy,
Yes.
Ryan Cruz,
No.
Paul, yes.
Okay, motion carried. So now we're at item B, which is approval in the amount of $2,569.50 to TKS for a keypad and fob addition to the security door.
Without that, it would just be a key entrance.
Right. Well, I guess I'm going to make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
And discussion and, my thinking on making the motion simply, if we're gonna have that security door, it's gonna be more functional and easier if we have a fob on it than having to fumble with keys. Is it worth $2,569.50? I don't know, I guess that's up for debate, but that's my
Well,
thinking.
that's probably what we paid them when our first one done. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, I'm just gonna do an all in favor on this one rather than roll call. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So 2 names?
Yep. Item C is consideration of approval in the amount of $1,022.50 to TKS Security for a video camera in the employee entrance area.
This is probably the most important part of the thing.
Well, this is only for Tammy's computer. This is not going to help Tom or me.
Oh,
But it would be like a portion that she could come up and see it on her computer.
Like she currently can do with the cameras that are around.
It would be an additional camera put into that vestibule area.
And when she's not here,
I can't get it on mine for this amount of money, and neither can Tom. As far as board members go, now they're going to have their fobs to be able to come in.
I think my Ring camera's cheaper.
Well,
No, I
I
can-
can see it be just like it is now.
Yeah.
When I come in, unless I come in quickly, if I don't holler to Tammy or something, she's getting up and coming around to see who's coming in.
Yeah.
What's that?
She does that with me all the time.
Yeah. Which is kind of an inconvenience for her.
But now, with the fob, you're going to be able to come in right away with that fob.
Yeah, I'm
So
not.
she's not going to have much of a chance.
So she could wait
Yeah.
temporarily to
See, it's me.
see if it's not one of us coming in. Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the $1,022.50 to TKS.
Is there a second to that motion? Okay.
I'll second it, so we can drop all the other.
Okay, so we have a motion by Steggy, second by Ball to approve the security camera in the amount of $1,022.50. Discussion.
And truthfully, we'd like to see it if we're going to have it at all of ours, the capability for everybody or nobody, you know. You know what I'm getting at, rather than just on her machine, on her computer, have it for Tom and me.
Oh. But
It
then,
would be yet another quote.
yeah.
And it's not really so important for me because I can see, but you can't. I mean, you're like rooms away.
Well, and I guess the advantage of Tom having it would be if somebody was coming in to pay taxes and they could communicate with him, I want to pay my taxes,
Yeah.
then Tammy doesn't have to get up and be the go-between. You can come and collect the taxes. I don't know. Just a thought. But that would entail getting another quote then.
And maybe when he comes to put the security on the door, maybe we could talk about that and address that later. What do you think?
maybe they could throw that in for you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, it's not how it works, I guess.
Well, let's call the question. All in favor of the motion to approve the $1,022.50 for the security video camera, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Anyone knows?
Yeah, me and Brian.
Item D is consideration of approval of a amendment to update the township investments and depository designation policy. Basically, we're just eliminating two of the, that's the only change in it?
TCF was purchased by Huntington, so it's no longer existing.
Right.
And M-Bank was purchased by Nicollet Bank and out of Wisconsin, and so that's, we don't need that. So it's just taking those off. And
Otherwise,
updating it. Nothing other than that, nothing
yeah,
has changed.
no other
So,
changes, okay.
that was something that came up with MTA at one of the meetings I went to, about getting that done.
I'll make the motion, we update these financial institutions.
Just a question. This is the one you're eliminating the
Right.
two,
Right,
and this is the one we're accepting?
yeah.
What is it, members, not forfeit?
It's this,
Number 7?
oh, I guess that should be.
Should be forfeit.
What we forfeit, yeah.
Members is no longer.
Right. Well, technically, I think it's still on our tax thing that way, but it should be forefront.
Number 7.
Yeah.
So if we make that change, members on the second one is, number 7 is forefront.
Tom, you'll have to get me a new, updated one with forefront on here, so when we,
Tell me about it.
yes, when we sign this resolution, you have it right.
Okay, so we haven't had a motion
No,
yet.
I'll make the motion to approve the updated.
I'll support.
Okay, motion by Steggy, second by Brian Cruz to approve the change in the investment depository designation resolution. Any other discussion on that? Okay, Shirley, call the roll.
Brian Cruz,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Stady,
Yes.
Kalinowski,
Yes.
Paul, yes, Bachinsky,
Yes.
Dean Cruz,
Yes.
E is consideration of sealed bids for obsolete property sale, and I've got 3 envelopes here. Okay, so far, none of them are the same items being bid on. Okay, so I have a bid of $1 for the bag of Easter eggs. When I went in there and saw that, I scratched my head and said, how did this get in here? What's it from? When's it from?
and actually that party would like the other bag too.
Okay, and then on the same bid is 1 silver square metal container, $2 bid. So I don't know if we need to vote on these. They're the only bids for those items. I suppose we just make the contact, let them know that they have the high bid, the only bid. This one is on the wall mount light for $5, the backpack leaf blower for $26, and the 2-foot round can for $2. And that's a different one. This is a round can, the other one was a square metal container. So that's different. And then this one is on the fertilizer spreader for $5, the John Deere tractor for $102, and the shop vac for $5. So I guess we are rid of those items.
I will make
Yeah,
a
that's-
motion to do.
Let's go
Motion
for
to
it.
accept the bids.
So what do you do with the items that you didn't?
And I'll second that motion.
The policy outlines what the next step is. The policy, the obsolete equipment policy outlines what the next step is, and that's the supervisor that directs the disposal.
We were gonna have a yard
Supervisor that
sale
gets to
and
load
and
them
the
in the truck
town,
and haul them
we were gonna have a
instead of
yard sale and sell them, and policy came up, and
Your policy, you signed it. Your policy, you're the one who signed it.
Second.
It was yours.
Yeah, I think we got
When are they gonna pick that stuff up?
a motion by Steggy, and I seconded the motion
To accept it.
to accept the bids, the obsolete property bids.
And all
Discussion.
presented items
Pardon me?
are on, all presented.
On the items that were bid on, yes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And I'll have to refer to the policy
Yep.
to see what the next step is,
It's
Jim.
all you now.
I was just wondering, because Tammy called me and said that there was a fire extinguisher or something that was on the list or something that nobody bid on. She wanted to know what to do with it.
Yeah, it's a real old one.
So I just told her to have, sorry, I can't remember his name. I want to say Gary.
Paul,
Paul,
our maintenance man.
drop it off at the station on Monday, and we'll take care of it from there. If you're going to dispose of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's still, from what I understand, it's still got stuff in it, so we'll use it for practice. We'll use it for training.
Okay, so, and you told her that, so she
I
knows
told
she'll
her
get
that, yes,
Paul
that
to
if
deliver it?
if you're
Okay.
just going to dispose of it, drop it off at the station on Monday, we'll do
Yep.
it Monday night, we'll take
Okay.
care of it from there, we'll
Good.
use it for training.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, item, consideration of approval for a quote dated February 9th in the amount of $16,309 to Ron Brown and Sons to Blacktop Lagoon Creek. Basically, that's from the stone wall to Red Apple Road. And I guess I would note that this bid will have, or this motion, if it's made, will have to be contingent upon approval of the road commission. You recall that we had that I'm sorry, not that one we didn't have surveyed, the other one we had surveyed. But because of having the survey done in Sunling and the assumption that Ron Brown and Sons is going to want to do these two projects at the same time, and that is in fact true. I talked with Scott on, I think it was Thursday of last week. Anyway, I sent the survey reports and everything from Spicer Group to Mark Solden, and when I contacted him on Thursday or Friday last week, he had not yet looked at those documents, and so I told him we had a board meeting tonight and that it was going to be presented to the board for approval, and hopefully he would have a chance to look at it and give us his go-ahead on that. The Sunling one is the one we need because the road commission has a road right-of-way there that borders our parking area at Sunling. So if we do a motion on the Sunling one, it would have to be contingent upon approval of the road commission.
But not the Magoon Creek.
The Magoon Creek we're free to do, but I know that if we're going to have them both done, Brown and Sons is going to want to do them at the same time, which makes sense. So with that background, I guess, we're looking at, the first one there is for the Magoon Creek. And like I said, that's just from the stone wall out to Red Apple Road.
I'll make the motion that we accept that bid for that one.
I'll support it.
Motion by Kolonowski, second by Hachinsky to approve the bid of $16,309 to Ron Brown and Sons to blacktop the Magoon Creek entrance area. Any discussion? Shirley, want to do roll call, please?
Chesky,
Yes.
Dean Cruz,
Yes.
Brian Cruz. Yes. Kalinowski,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Stady,
Yes.
Paul, yes.
Item G is consideration of approval for a quote dated February 9th in the amount of $24,000 to Brown and Sons to blacktop the Sunling Park parking area. And that would be from Red Apple Road to the stone wall and then on inside the stone wall to include the what's now gravel parking area.
Wasn't that a road right away that was given to us several years ago from the road commission?
I do not know.
Well, it almost has to be because they own to the dead end on the other side of the road. Where them two trees are, that's road commission property. And I looked on a map, and I maybe have a map here. It goes to the back of those property lines, like to where Shirley's property line is in the back. That right away goes to the back and it dead ends.
Yeah, I don't know about them gifting that to the township or not, Tom. I know that in the reason this came up, when I looked at my Onyx map at it to see, because my concern was that driveway on the north side of the parking lot is actually, the edge of that driveway is on township property, according to the survey and according to my Onyx map. That was my concern, so I looked at it on my Onyx maps, and when I looked at it, I thought, okay, that looks okay, we're safe there, but on the other side, it showed where our township property line is. It shows our parking lot over that line and onto the neighbor's property by a substantial amount.
I seen that, I went down there.
And
And one stake is just a little bit, like a couple feet from the path that everyone uses. So is that the line right there then?
the stake out by the
The stake
road,
to the, no, farther down to the south on the path. There's a stake there that somebody put.
I don't know which one you're talking about, Dale.
Like
There's,
right in by the path?
As you walk down the path, right before you're ready to go down the
Yeah.
bank, there's one right there.
you talking about the path that leads from the parking area down
Yes.
to the lake? Oh, I didn't.
I was wondering what that was.
I have no idea.
Somebody may just have put that there.
I have no idea, because the stakes that he put in
Because
to
it was
mark
never
our
that.
boundaries on the south is, you see that old fence that's there?
Mhm.
It's right there where that old fence is. And so our parking area goes right up to that fence and that stake that's there. And also, Pat Bentley went to the courthouse and got the, I guess the deed that shows ownership, or shows the being a right-of-way that was dedicated. And so that's, that's when I sent everything to Solon to make sure that we wouldn't get it done and then them come back and say, wait a minute, the road commission owns that. My concern was more that it was the property owner to the south, a person by the name of Jim Smith that lives downstate, Grand Rapids or somewhere. But when I talked with Pat Bentley after he finished the survey, he said, yeah, that he was confident that was the situation, but just to be on the safe side, to send that to Mark Solon. And like I said, I haven't heard back from him. The first time I called him on it, he was actually at the 12th Street location when they were working there. And And so I simply told him that I had emailed that to him and would he look at it? And when I hadn't heard back from him in about 3 days, I called again and he still hadn't looked at it. That was last week, I think Thursday. So if we approve that, I'm thinking we probably should approve it contingent upon approval by the road commission.
I will make a motion that we approve this subject to the approval of the road commission.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Staggy, second by Dean Cruz to approve the quote in the amount of $24,000 from Ron Brown and Sons to Blacktop Sunling Park parking area, subject to approval from the road commission.
You know, I have to tell you that none of these were on the capital improvement plan, none of these pavings. So the funds are going to have to come directly.
Probably not. I think we've done some other pavings that weren't on the capital improvement plan, no.
We have, yeah, but these were not. They were never on. I pulled it just the other day.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, Shirley?
Dean Cruz,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Brian Cruz,
Yes.
Kalinowski,
Yes.
Davies,
Yes.
Paul, yes, Kaczynski.
Yes.
Okay, item H is consideration of approval for estimate number 2070 in the amount of $1,100 to Roman Empire Tree LLC for stump grinding, bush removal for various township properties. And just keeping in mind that we have another bid under item J from A Game Tree Service further down.
They're not apples to apples though.
They're not
Because this
quite
one's got
apples
more
to
stumps
apples.
on it.
26 stumps versus 20.
Yep, yep. So,
So how much is it per stump, 25?
But there's a lot of other stuff too. 3 rooted areas of debris and removed 1 juniper bush.
yeah. Yeah, there's,
I'll make a motion, we go with the $1,100 bid and get all that done from Roman Empire.
I'll second it.
a motion by Brian Cruz, second by Dean Cruz to approve the bid in the amount of $1,100 to Roman Empire Tree LLC for stump grinding and bush removal for the various township properties. Any more discussion? I agree that bid is much more concise,
For 300.
and $300 difference, and to be honest with you, and I got a text message the other day from Bob. I happened to be in my office, and he said he was still trying to get some bids, some additional bids for the stump grinding, but wasn't able to. This was just, I think this was just yesterday, and I just happened to be going through all my business cards in my desk drawer, and I'd seen this, actually there was 3 of them, tree service companies, and so I just took pictures of those cards and sent them to Bob and said, if you want to try to get some more bids, here's some possibilities, and then the next day he sent that to me, so yeah, that was yesterday, you got that quote. So anyhow, let's call the question. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item I is consideration of approval, and I can't read my own writing now, so you got to give it to me again, in the amount of $36,294 to Municipal Underwriters of Michigan Incorporated for the 2023-2024 Parkland Insurance Renewal and Cyber Liability Coverage Option.
What's the difference in the prices?
I see why, because the other one's 2 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the other one was 2
I
years
just was
old.
gonna ask that, now I have.
Initially, that was sent to my husband's old email address. I don't even have it anymore. And then when they discovered they weren't getting paid, they sent another one, and then it turned out to be 2 years old. When I went to pay the bill yesterday, I had to call and get it straightened around.
I'll make a motion when we accept the bill.
I'll second it.
69.
Motion by Brian Cruz, second by Kolomeski to approve the bid in the amount of $36,294 to Municipal Underwriters for their parkland insurance renewal. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying, oh no, we probably better do a roll call vote on this one. That's a bigger amount.
Paul, yes. Peters,
Yes.
Kaczynski,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Malinowski,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Brian Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, and I suppose because I put it on the agenda, we need to at least address item J. So if there's a lack of motion, we'll address it for the A-game tree service. Hearing no motion, it's dismissed. Public comment? The public? Well, no comment? Okay. Any other business to come before the board tonight? Tom, you got anything?
Well, other than that property, but let's discuss it some other time.
Okay. Brian?
None.
Tom?
The only thing I think of is that thing I mentioned to you earlier today about the East County Line Road thing. So we have to contact the road commission.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll check with them on that.
yeah. And, yeah. Shirley?
No,
My other thing was, when do you think they're gonna start the Fox Farm Wildwood projects? Is there, I didn't see no timeline on that. I mean, I know it's gotta be pretty soon because they're all staking it and stuff.
Yeah. I had an email on it, and off the top of my head, I don't remember what they said,
He
but
says updated.
yeah, he'll keep us updated on it.
But I don't remember that.
I was-
I'm worried about Maple, that's all we're talking about.
Right. the one
Yeah,
that-
I guess I was surprised when I saw the projected start time and so on, because it was earlier than what I anticipated. It seems like we always seem to get pushed off to the tail end of all the projects, and it was like, I want to say like midsummer.
Oh, okay.
Well, he said that 12th Street and Murky thing would probably be substantially done by the end of May,
Yeah,
and that he suspected that they would want to go on and do Fox Farm and Red Oak because they want to hurry up and get stuff done before that bridge work comes up that they're going to have to do just after the 4th of July, so
yeah.
maybe in June.
But they haven't started on Murky, have they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
They're starting.
They got all
They're grinding.
They ground
Oh,
all
are
the
they?
the
driveways.
driveways are all cut.
Good, because I haven't driven it, but like pulling up the stoplight the other day, I looked down to see if I could see anything, and I didn't see
They already
anything.
blacktopped in front of Walgreens.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And they're all undercut, all the intersections
Yeah.
are already cut,
I
all the way
didn't-
up to the cemetery.
Yeah, that surprised me. I didn't realize that that portion in front of Walgreens was going to be a part of
Yeah,
that
that was
project.
part of that. But all the driveways are cut all the way down Murky.
Yeah. And I forget where it is. Oh, no, that's, you and I were talking the other day about curbing and that at another location.
Today
And talk to me
they're,
afterwards, I'll tell you about that.
they were blacktopping today in front of the cemetery on Maple, all the way down,
Good, good. Yeah, I know they've been working on that.
even in the rain, I mean, they were blacktopping the road.
Yeah, good.
You know, I go next week to the road commission meeting and I'll find out when the start date, and I'll let you know.
Next week? You
I
said?
think it's next week.
Okay. Touch base with me, because if I haven't heard anything, gotten anything back from them on Sunling, you can stand up and wave your arms. And
I'll check back with you before I go and see if you got something to take
Yeah.
there.
Dean, did you have anything?
I have nothing.
Okay, I just have two real quick things. One, just a reminder that Craze training at the Vogue is Monday, 6 to 8.
I won't be there.
This coming Monday.
It's my birthday.
Okay, happy birthday. But I think everybody had indicated an interest in that, so it's just a reminder.
This next Monday?
This coming Monday, 6 to 8.
I got an appointment at Travis, so.
Yeah, okay. It was just a reminder. And was the planning commission made aware of that? I think they were, yeah.
All the boards and the
Yes.
commissions were notified.
Good. And then the last thing, we had that fire from a family in our township, and there's a member of their family, I guess, is doing a fundraiser at the rec center. Tammy called me this afternoon and said, can we at least waive the rental fee for the rec center? And I said, I don't think so, and I conferred with Alex, and the long answer is no, we can't. So I said, I'm going to do a donation. I'll just give it to Tammy to pass on to the people. They can use it either towards the rental cost or however they want to use it. So if anybody wants to do that.
What is the fee for the rec center?
$75. There's a deposit that gets back to you afterward.
I'll pay for it.
No, I think it's 100.
You can do your donation, I'll pay for the rec center.
And 75 is,
75 bucks, I'll pay for that.
it's 100 for the rental, and 75
For the 75, yeah, right.
So I get the deposit back, so it's 100 bucks.
Yes.
because you gotta pay 175.
Okay, I can handle that. Okay.
Thank
Got
you.
that family on me?
We'll let them know, yeah.
Yeah, will you let them know on that, and I'll
Yep.
stop by tomorrow.
Well,
and
you
get the
come
money.
in tomorrow then and fill out the paperwork and everything and then rent it in your name and pay her.
Okay, I'm not liable though if anything happens, right? Liability?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I told Tammy,
Not if you give the money to them and they pay for it. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
Oh,
if their name is on the paperwork, you wouldn't.
so their name's gotta be on the
okay,
paper.
so you
so
give
I'm
the
not-
money and send them in here to fill
and
it.
I asked Tammy, who was renting it, and she said, unfortunately, they're not a township resident, so they gotta be charged a higher amount. And I said, well, they're doing this for that family? And she said, yeah. And I said, are they related? And she said, yeah, they're related to them. So I told her, I said, tell them to have them put the other family's name on the rental agreement so that we don't have to charge them that.
Well, you're busy, but if I gave you the money, would you take care of it with the family? I know you're busy,
Yeah,
but you could be the like representative spokesman.
I will do that.
Tell them, here's the money to pay for the rental
Yeah.
of the hall.
Okay. That may not happen tomorrow because I got rehab tomorrow, and then tomorrow's my anniversary, and
Leave
we're
me
gonna
the
leave
money.
town. And
I'll leave you the
And I'll
money.
tell Tammy to call
Thank
them
you.
and have them come in and fill out.
I'll
Thank
leave
you.
you 175
Yes.
tomorrow.
And if the other family rents it?
Come
No,
get your
that-
money.
Yeah, that's right. Because for non-resident, the rental. is
Obviously,
what,
she
one?
knows all about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, so, good, thank you. And I get anybody else then that wants to make a donation tonight?
Here.
Give it to Shirley. And Shirley, you'll take care of that, getting that to Tammy too?
All I want to be concerned with is the rental of that.
You don't want to take money to give to her to give to the family?
No.
Do we know what day they're fundraising?
I don't even know what day they're doing this.
I don't know either. We're gonna start.
It might be on the board in there. I can look on the board when we get done here.
Because I would just show up and
Yeah.
give my my donation.
Yeah, she's probably got it on the board in there.
There's a GoFundMe page for
I'll pay you
it.
the
Oh, is there a GoFundMe page? Okay, good.
I'm gonna
Okay.
stop and give you the money and then notify them.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
If you come before I'm
We're
here
getting a
tomorrow
big
morning,
discussion here.
then give it to Tammy and tell her what you're doing.
Oh, I gotta go to the farm and fleet tomorrow, get some corn seed, I gotta plant my crops.
Yeah, and if you need help with that too. Okay, motion for adjournment.
I so moved.
Second.
Oh,
Motion and second by the Cruz brothers. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Certainly.